What's good, fam? Welcome to Subs Over Dubs Anime Review Chainsaw Man, Episode 4. My name is Vision, here with my co-host Rebel. Today we'll be breaking down Episode 4 and just get right into it. So, off top, Power kind of feeling a little down or not down, confused, because Denji saved her after she sacrificed Denji to get Meowie. And we find that, hey, Denji took the Bat Devil out, saved his damsel in distress for what? Upai. He said
It wasn't the goodness of his heart.
maybe a little bit of that. But, Power's asking, why'd you save me? And he went back to his roots.
It wasn't a wrong answer. It was not the wrong
Do it,
answer.
me, guys.
Hey man, that's the universal language. Anybody would understand that.
Hey, man, I don't. What's the best way to say this? I appreciate his goals. I'll put it like that.
His aspirations.
His aspirations. So, yeah, Power, he did it all for the boobs. I can't blame the guy, man.
You gotta do what
He
you gotta
doesn't have life experience. This is all he wants to know what it's like, so he's gonna do whatever it takes.
I love his goals in life because it's so, it's almost like making fun of other anime and manga because he's like, let me guess, you're in it for revenge or something. And he's like, bro, all that's boring, bro. He's like, it's all played out. He's like, I want the real. He's like, show me the real. He's like, I ain't never touched breasts before. I ain't never kissed a woman. He's like, so I don't care if my dreams are, I guess, shallower than other people's. He's like, that's what I want. And I'm like, that's cool.
I will say that
admirable.
You're seeing more and more growth from Denji because remember in the beginning episodes, all he wanted was nice food, decent
to live
food.
like a decent life.
He said 3 square meals a day. He's never had that. He said if I were to die now, I would be happy. Man. Until he starts learning more about himself and his wants and goals, and then it went from food to now we're at boobs.
Yes, sir.
And
what I like about this episode is also Power. You kind of you see a little bit of her backstory, and then you kind of see where she's like, I hate fiends, I hate devils, I hate humans, I hate everybody. But you almost in those that backstory, you almost don't believe it because she's almost confused about her own emotions.
Yeah, because she took in that cat.
Yeah, and then she's like, and then
Meowie.
Post fight with Denji and the Bat Devil, she's like, well, why'd he save me? So she's starting to kind of almost develop her mindset, and it almost looks like she's changing her mind on what she believes in, which is cool because I feel like that's one of Denji's powers. They make fun of Naruto where he has that talk no jutsu. He has a way of I guess changing the way people think. Because Aki the same way. Even Makima was like, you spent a day with this guy and you're already starting to kind of change the way you think. So I think that's pretty cool. She's already kind of developing as a character, and
so his growth inherently affecting everyone else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
this is growth. No, 100%. But he goes in for his reward, his victory, and guess what happens? Cock block on the way.
That man gets the whole hand cut off, my guy. The one he was trying to claim his prize with.
Why? He couldn't wait 1 second. He would have been
1 more second, bro.
He was waiting on this moment for God knows how long, and then
he could have died gracefully.
Just like that. Took it away.
Man, that was wild. That was a good episode, though. The fight scenes were really cool. The animation was there. And then, obviously, my boy Denji got saved. I love it. How you do it? How you do it?
I'm pretty sure he does it like this.
Yeah, that was clean.
Boom.
Oh, that was, to me, I was hyped. I knew he was strong, and I knew he was going to be one of those characters that's integral. But, even if Denji was exhausted, he took out this worm devil. I don't know if they really explained what it was. If it was just one of those things.
The Bat Devil's wife.
Yeah, side chick something.
Wife
but
devil.
Took him out, and that fox spirit, that looked dope. That was real 100%. Badass.
That was like I said in the beginning. Just seeing him from the intro, I felt like he was gonna be a dope character. He's carrying a sword.
I still want to see about that.
Got the short ponytail going. He looks legit.
And he's laid back, so it's always the ones that are laid back that are or not laid back, but
calm and collected.
Calm and collected. Yeah, those are the ones you're like, I should be scared of this guy if he ever pulls up on me. Hey. So it was really cool to see kind of a little bit of what he can do, and I'm like, one move, bruh, with his devil, and he was able to just wash that worm devil or whatever the heck it is.
Gone.
So that was pretty cool. I think I like the fight scenes. The only thing that I was like when we were talking off air was I wanted to see a little bit more dialogue, but I guess they're balancing it out in a way where like one episode might have a little bit more dialogue and then some action, and then some of them might just be more action, and then with a little bit of dialogue at the end. But it was overall like a fun episode. It was really cool. Sub had to hold it down for me this time. I watched it in dub, and I even watched it again in dub just to make sure when I give my opinion, it was valid. I was unbiased. That's what I do. But dub got it for me, man. As
Dub got it for you?
I mean, Sub. I'm sorry, Sub
Look at
got it
him.
for me. Sub.
Conflicted.
Dub, man, like, so Power wasn't terrible. Like when we were talking earlier, when she doesn't have those voice inflections and she's just talking normally, it's not bad. Like it's not terrible, but when you see that high pitch, or she gets angry, or she tries to be a certain way, and those voice inflections and that emotion comes out, it just kind of loses me. To your point when we were talking earlier, it almost feels forced.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
It's just hard to bring out her quirky character because, like, in Japanese, it doesn't sound, again, forced. Versus in dubbed in English, especially, like when she's trying to portray Power's character like they do in sub, it's not a one-for-one translation. It doesn't sound as good or the same. And, like, you get that, like, feeling. It's like it's out of place. It feels forced to us.
It's like that's not what Power would sound, or like that's not what that character
it just doesn't feel natural or sound natural.
Yeah.
So, and that's my biggest thing when it comes to dub anime. It's very hard, I think, to translate these characters to an English voice. And maybe it's possible. I don't know voice actors off the top of my head. I couldn't like think of any names to say of this person did it. It would sound fluent. We wouldn't feel this way. But that's part of my journey in doing these reviews, is because I don't know too much dubbed anime. Just don't know voices. I know some. You have some guys that are routinely used in different shows, but
like I think Funimation, their
whole crew. Yeah,
some of them are like just spammed in a lot of animes, which those are the ones I don't mind. But then when the ones you're just kind of like Chainsaw Man, I haven't distinctively picked up on something that I'm like, oh, I remember him or her from another anime. So
I think we looked it up. I don't think any of the voice actors are.
I think they're all like first big break or something like that. So
for the most part,
yeah, like I said, not terrible. Again, if it was something that I and it's hard because like the side characters in Chainsaw Man and dub aren't bad. Like to me, they're 6, 7. What really bothers me is Denji's voice in dub. Like when he was.
It's only when he's like again animated.
The voice.
And it's not as bad as Powers, but just hearing it just feels like, is this what he would probably sound like if he was
American or something? Yeah. Not my Denji. No. It's not my Denji.
He wants the UK Denji bloke.
Yeah, I'll take that.
But yeah, I mean, and that's just the biggest thing with me when it comes to watching anime is when you have these differences when you're going from sub to dub. That's why I always lean towards sub, because you don't have to worry about this. Very few times that you're gonna have dub voice acting or sub voice acting get to a point where it's like, I don't want to. This doesn't feel right or sound right. Whereas dub, it's gonna be a lot of trial and error. I mean, this isn't the first time that there's some dub voice acting that feels out of place, and it won't be the last. I'm pretty sure some people are better than others, and I feel like sometimes, again, I say this a lot, I don't know if it's necessarily the voice actor or the director that wants to bring out a certain character, and they're kind of forcing it, and that's why we get this. Because like you said, when Power is down and she's just talking, okay. Denji, when he's just chilling, having conversation, okay.
Not bad.
It's only when they get animated and they try to bring out that character's emotions, it feels off.
For sure, I agree. As far as like the total overall episode, if you had to rate it, is it something that's getting better per episode for you, or is it just kind of like staying is like at a 7.58 and it's just cruising? It's
cruising right now. I mean, I haven't seen anything new that I would say it made it necessarily better. We do get to see Aki in action, and he's a dope character, but not enough to like say, oh, Cone came out. Oh, it's a 9 now. That was a dope spot in this episode, but no, we're cruising for me. 7.5. Dub, it's not downtrending, but it's kind of leveled out after the downtrend.
Mhm.
It's okay, but sub is gonna be my choice, of course, and then I would recommend anyone stepping into this show particularly. Starts off equal, but it's a drop off.
Starts taking
It's
off,
a
yeah.
drop off in dub.
Yeah, for me, I don't know, man. That one move with Aki that just did it for me. Like I was at like that 8 spot in the first 3 episodes accumulated. But that deserved a 0.5 for me.
You gotta understand
You
though,
know,
like
But it was just kind of like, I think the timing, the placement, the episode placement was perfect. Like they could have introduced that in episode 1, 2, 3, but they waited to where it was like Denji's fighting someone who's, he's having trouble with, and it's just showing like where his experience is to where Denji's fighting experience is, and it's just like it's placed in the right time. One move, obviously the way that they animated the Fox Devil was just, to me I was like, that deserved that 0.5. So it was cool. For me though, it's gradually, it's raising the bar, and I don't think there's 4 episodes in. I don't think there's been an episode where like the episode before it was like
way better or
way better.
noticeably.
I think it's gradually building up, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
every episode is getting better. We're learning new things. We're getting action, dialogue. Obviously, when he goes into chainsaw mode, the animation is, to me, in my opinion, beautifully animated. So to me, it's like gradually going, and as the season progresses, I'm expecting it to be somewhere in that 9. If, from what we're foreshadowing in the beginning, continues to pile on. Now, they might have some episodes where they'll reel it back or whatever the case may be, but I'm expecting it to be a 9 out of 10 by the end of the 13 episodes.
So before we go any further, just so I can get with the people and myself can get a barometer, what is something else you'd put in that 9 category?
Solid 9. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is a 9 for me.
Now, even though I like that show a lot as well, and it's super funny, I don't even know if I can give it a 9. Because, like, I'll put it like this.
See, but I feel like you're a lot harder at grading animes than me. Like, if I genuinely, and like for you, the way that you place them is like, you're like, okay, here is the 5, and then you work from the 5. To me, I think about all of the animes that I've placed my mind, like 3s, 4s. Then I'm like, okay, from there, how many points does this get above that, and why? So, like, for me, 9 is Slime. 9 is Demon Slayer. There's not many that I would put in the 10 category, but there's a lot of animes. Out of the 40, like 30 of them that I liked are in the 8, 9 category. Because I won't continue to watch an anime if it's at least not in that 8 or 9 category for me personally.
The only reason I say this is because, like, I'll just poke a hole myself for Reincarnated as a Slime. I feel like the storytelling isn't as good as some of the other anime. It's not bad.
Oh, well, yeah. But it has other, like, to me, I think there's other elements to
Charms,
animes.
yeah.
So you have, like, animation, you have storyline, you have character development, you have all these things. So to me, it's like you have a list of 9 different things, and if it hits 7 out of the 8 or 7 out of the 9, then to me, I'm like, because not every anime is going to be perfect.
Of course.
And something's going to have opportunity, right? Like
That
Slime, I can agree the storyline isn't crazy.
Comparatively
it isn't
to other animes.
comparatively, but
it does make up for it in other aspects. But that's what, for me, that's what holds it from being a 9.
Gotcha. So what do you put it as, an 8?
So like you mentioned earlier, I'm probably harder to grade. So 5 being average, right? Slime, probably like a 7.
Hurt my heart.
That's above average.
It is. But
That's
I like
good.
To me, that worst case scenario, Slime should be an 8. Worst case
Tell me
scenario.
a show that's better than a 9, or better than a 9. Because if you're thinking, Chainsaw Man's trending to the 9, of Reincarnated Slime is a 9. What is a 10, or what's higher than the 9?
What's higher than a 9? Something that I absolutely love.
You don't have to love it for it to be you can respect
Well,
it.
to me, 10 is One Piece first and foremost. I just
Listen.
but it's had so many episodes where it can give you storytelling.
Even let me just say this: even at One Piece's like peak, I would say the animation alone holds it back from being a 10.
I mean, prior to, I think the animation now, and you see the development from like the late 90s, early 2000s anime, it's progressed with the time. So when you're watching it and it first came out, it was still good animation. and then it just continues to get better as the seasons progress. So let's see. I got my anime list right here.
Oh man.
I got it. Besides, there's not a lot of animes in my mind that are like 10s, but like obviously One Piece is one that's gonna be a 10. Black Clover to me is like a 9.5 out of 10 in my opinion.
Now that
That's just
one,
me.
it's pretty good. Storylines is not bad. It's shonen, so it's kind of be the power of the friendship type thing. 9.5.
Akame got kills a 9.5 to me.
It's another good one.
It's that one, man. Like
I would take that one being closer to a 9 before I would take Slime being closer to a 9.
But Slime,
just
but
in general.
it's like what you gotta understand. Like people watch different animes for different reasons. So like Akame got killed is an anime that I watch because, well, and I'm not gonna. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but then Slime is just so fun to watch. So like when
It's
you
a good
want
time.
something a little bit more lighthearted, but has like adult elements to it, and then you're gonna get good fight scenes. It's fun to watch. So a 9 for one anime can be a different reason why I have a 9 in another anime. Like I feel like for you set them all and like here are my parameters and they have to meet that parameter. But for me, I'm like, this is a 9 because it's fun to watch. This is a 9 because it makes me cry. So when I feel like crying, I'm gonna watch this anime, right? So you have different. For me, I have different expectations, I guess you could say, or different reasonings behind my numbers. They're not just like.
It's not a strict scale.
It's not a structured, like strict thing.
I would well, see. That's good to know, so people kind of understand. your
the way that I watch.
Because like, myself, like you mentioned, everything is kind of. What are the characters like? What's the character development? What's the story? What's the animation? Is there really good like great moments? Like there's animes that I can think of and I call it just moments in anime that's just like that was a tough scene. So for me, like the only one that's even, I don't know if I can necessarily put anything in a 10 out of 10, but for me personally, something that's a 9 be like Hunter x Hunter. I think you got everything. You got good animation. You have great storytelling. It's very adult. So for me, it's not, you're not going to get like something overly kiddie or no one's going to, take a L like and just die. So in all aspects, I think that one, if there is a 9 for me, that would be one that I'd put in my book. Because even something like Naruto, great anime. I grew up with it. It's in my top 5. But in a way, it took me a while for someone to tell me this. Storytelling's not terrible, but it's just like, man, if you think about it logically, the whole show is revolving around a dude chasing another dude.
Hey, man, you do anything for the homies?
I don't know about all that, but when someone brought that to my attention, it was like, that's crazy. You know what? You're right. This man Naruto was chasing Sasuke.
But it's not. But he is. But it's a symbolism. Like in his mind, he's like, if I can't even save one person, then I can't save. I can't
save my best friend. I can't be the whole
yeah,
guy.
So it's more of like. So I've heard people say that, but to me, it's more of a representation. What kills me, to me, it's an 8 out of 10. What stops that from being the 10 out of 10 was. I understand that it was weekly. I understand they didn't take breaks. But the amount of filler that Naruto had is the one thing that to me stops it from being something that could be a 10 out of 10. Because you have the fight scenes, you have the character development, you have like the journey. And you have those moments where you're like, what he's saying now applies to my real life, And that's what I like going back to Chainsaw Man. That's what I like in that beginning is like he's bringing something that people can relate to. He's bringing a life that like somebody could be like, I understand what he's going through. Maybe not
they're
fully.
Close.
Yeah. So, and those are the type of things that I think that's where you get those special animes. And even though like there's hype around Chainsaw Man and the manga and things like that, just from what I've seen, taking everything out, that's what I think has the potential of being special is you're giving us someone who had nothing, is slowly getting things, starting to appreciate it, doesn't want to let it go. And it kind of shows like no matter what you go through, if you keep persevering, you can make anything happen. I know that he never in his life, he dreamt of having a piece of toast with, what was it? Like
jelly
or
jam.
And then now he's having more than he's ever had. And that to me is like cool. Like that's what's going to make it special is like, I guess those little like pockets of like realism, I guess you could say, in these animes that especially kids like 15, 16, 17-year-old where like learning things like this and like life lessons are detrimental teaches you. Like to me, I honestly learned a lot from Naruto, like how to be a good person, how to like, you know, like the way that he spoke and the things that they talked about and the things they went through is like I can relate to that in some way. I could put that in my life, and that's why people love Naruto. And that's why people, I think, are going to end up loving this show if they continue going the way. You know, obviously we've seen anime start that way, and then they just take a left turn, and you're like, well, what you started and where it got to is like Boruto. Like Naruto was great, it had all the things, it had these meanings, and then to me it felt like Boruto just ended up being like a cash grab. It lost all of those like learning lessons, how to be a better person. Like they snuck that into a show that was supposed to be, at least for our time, for kids, you know, and then now it's just. So I think that it has the potential to be a anime that is special and can teach young adults life lessons and kind of be the thing that we weren't able to be when we were younger, you know. So that's going back to that Chainsaw Man. That's why my expectation is for it to be a 9, because I want it to be, I guess, in a sense, what Naruto was, you know?
Yeah, you feel like it's going to be
for the next generation, I guess you could say. Because we've had our time. We've had our Narutos, you know, in y'all's aspect of y'all like Bleach, like the Ichigos. We've had our big 3. So just seeing the new big 3 and seeing how, you know, maybe like our nieces, nephews, kids, like how they're reacting to anime and the culture and where it's going. It's just exciting to me.
It's going to be hard to really get another big 3 in this sense, because those animes are all ongoing at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, they're week-to-week episodes, versus now, you know, you're only having single core, sometimes 2 core seasons. It's only 26 episodes, so it's hard to even get someone in that category. The closest one that's been recently is probably Black Clover, World Trigger a little bit.
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter is old. It's not necessarily new. It's just it was animated again.
Well, I think My Hero's in that category, because although, like, one, it has a big following, and 2, they do the 26 episode thing, but I feel like the way they space them, it feels like we don't go that long in between seasons.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it's closer to, yeah, you know,
it's like 6 months probably at max. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess that might be just the new way to judge it. You know, those different how anime is produced, because
that also helps, like, where we don't have to get filler episodes. We don't have to, like, they don't have to
force
waste money.
Anything.
Yeah, you know, and then the animation, they could spend that money and that time on animating the things that are important. Especially the people who like read manga, they're like, you know, going back to another manga, like, or another anime. Seven Deadly Sins got room for people because they had all these expectations, and then what they kept doing was, instead of waiting a year, an extra year or 6 months, give us what they wanted. They wanted to, as another cash grab. Oh, this is really popular right now. We got to push as much content as we can. Now it's ruined.
It killed its own.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, I have high hopes for Chainsaw Man, because it has that potential. I just hope it doesn't get ruined. So if everything keeps going well by the end of the season, I hope it's 9 out of 10, and I hope it's just consistently there. But again, that's just an expectation that I have. It might not be fulfilled. It might be, but it's getting better and better for me every week. I'm having fun with it. I'm liking it. Obviously, we're watching it multiple times in 2 different languages, so I have no complaints so far.
All right, guys. I'm going to say one thing. While a lot of anime can teach you a lot of things, don't take anything from Chainsaw Man for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get in trouble. But
it's
yeah.
just funny, but don't do it in real life.
L. But other than that, overall good episode. Again, I'll give it this riding at a 7.5. Or you bumped it up to an 8?
Mm-hmm.
I think you had it. I think you had it at 8 last week. No.
That's why I said like 8.5.
Okay, thanks. He. Shit, it's gonna be a 9 at the end of the season at this rate.
Well, it depends on what happens next week. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just really depends on what continues going. Because there are some times where they'll take like that week off where it's like, oh, we're gonna stop away from the story and do this little side thing. So it could drop. You know, it can drop. But my expectation is a 9, hopefully.
Well, we'll see how it goes in the next episode. But we're gonna wrap it up for this. I think we covered everything. We had, Denji, as you've seen at the ending credits, not ending credits, before the end of the episode, right? It looks like he's about to get his reward. We got cut off with the nasty cliffhanger, but
we gotta tease. So we'll see next
we'll
week.
See what happens next week. My boy Denji might punch his ticket. And move on to bigger, better goals, if you know what I mean. But
he went from first to second base.
Did he?
No, I'm saying he's going to be.
Oh, okay.
He'll go from first to second. He ain't gonna stop there. He ain't gonna stop
like,
there.
Did the second base already? He's like, dang. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for this episode, guys. Remember, subs or the dubs. My name is Vision. This is Rebel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.
Later.